Well, it's going to be one of those kind of days, isn't it? What's going on, guys, fellow zombies, and those who grieve? It's 4:08 p.m. West Coast time. It is Monday, the 3rd of February, 2024, 5 at this point. And shall we identify ourselves? The Diary of the Griever named John Weaver, which is me. Putting away the television. I suppose I can get into the personal stuff. Let you know what's going on. How would you like to have your independent television, your sources, other sources of news and creativity being stifled in bureaucracy, not to mention being manhandled by a group of teenage sycophants, ushered in by a megalomaniac who is richer beyond anything. And over the past 2.5 weeks, almost 3, we're getting into that situation where a guy who doesn't have official duty or classification in a government position can just arbitrarily go into people's files and dig through them, or have a psychopath do that in the first place. Aid programs that are on constant ferreting just to see if they're liberal minded or if they're absolutely needed. Not to mention going into people's Social Security just to see what information they can dig out of it. All that personal information that you guard and hoard, we'll say goodbye to it now. Yes, we have a rich guy going through your pockets, wondering who and what the hell you are, and whether or not you're worthy to be saved, salvaged, or tossed out, or insulted, or whatever they got it going. Meanwhile, the Department of Governmental Valuation, or whatever they call it, an unofficial, unrecognized by Congress, not even a department in itself, funded by a billionaire, is going through every damn government department out there. This was threatened months ago when this thing was popped up, and now we got a subcommittee coming up in about 1 or 2 weeks of putting PBS in a National Public Radio. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is going to be torn apart. Not to mention NPR, National Public Radio, who seems to be too liberal for the conservatives. That wasn't bad enough. The Pentagon and the White House had decided that they're going to be rotating media. The independents are going to have more and more of a say in kind of shoving out the corporate media. Of course, they call it rotation. Breitbart News is coming in there, and it's clones, and that's going to be an official news. Meanwhile, in some of the cities that we've got, including Los Angeles, they're still protesting Trump's deportation. I want to see the outrage of people's Social Security getting nailed. That's going to get raided. For decades since we had the Social Security, the Republican Party, and now they get the Trumplican Party, actually able to get into people's files and raid them. I was afraid over the past few weeks whether or not I'm actually going to have my rent paid for this month, and yes, it is. For next month, I don't know. I am not conservative enough. I'm not a Trumplicant. I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal. I'm a libtard, libturd. I'm wokeism. And yeah, I don't like these assholes in the first place, and I'm saying it to them. I didn't vote for him. I'm not voting for him. I don't recognize Doge. But Doge is not federal. It's an invasion into our federal government that the Republican Party doesn't give a shit about. And the Democrats are beside themselves that they don't know what the hell to do about it. Because they don't have the majority power in both Senate and in House of Representatives. And sure as hell haven't got the damn backing anywhere. If the district courts can try doing something about it, I don't know, they're probably going to be next in a hit parade. What would also concern me is companies like YouTube, which is run by Google, is going to be taking away our ability to communicate our displeasure and our feelings. We're going to be stuck with other groups that are going to be torn apart left and right. Blue Sky is one of the last holdouts out there. I thought YouTube would be, but I got a feeling they're going to be next on the hit parade. So if it's found out that PBS and National Public Radio is going to be on the hit parade and tossed out, then what do we do? All this protesting for immigration and also for the immigrant farmers is good because we need the food. We need the workers out there because the American people doesn't do this shit. It takes an immigrant farmer to do our farming needs. Pisses off the farmers, but where else are they going to get the help from? That includes every state that we've got agricultural business. But as for the First Amendment, major under attack. Because we got a loser up who's heading up the subcommittee who doesn't believe in the First Amendment except for her own First Amendment rights. And everybody else can go to hell. She's not fighting for us. She's not fighting for people. She's fighting for her own damn self. Must be nice. Tear apart everybody else's rights just because you have to burn up your ass. So when you have federal employees saying no, I haven't seen or monitored any news reporting yet whether or not if they're going to be making any public stink about being tossed out on their ear. Some of them have said they've been offered buyouts, but it's not government buyouts. Who's going to buy them out? This is threat and this is intimidation at this point. So this is what's happening. The trade war that Trump wanted to do, well, he got challenged, both by Mexico, mostly Canada. Canada says we're not dealing with it. But we'll settle out to having more border security. I hate to tell this, but I already said it a long time ago, that Canada has got the worst border than Mexico does. They're so afraid of the migrant worker coming from the Latin countries down below. It terrifies them that anybody else might be coming through the borders. Did they ever see the border of Canada? They got several provinces from west coast to east coast. Do you think we're going to build enough fence line for that one? Do we got the resources and the metal mined out of the earth to do that shit? Are we going to be displacing nature just to put up a fearful barrier? Just to keep us trapped, theoretically safe with our fear? And then, as I said it before, wait a second, we have the west and east coast. How are we supposed to protect those borders? And then, if it's just not the border between Mexico, theoretically to say we got the Gulf of America, so are we going to be doing a border about 15, 20, 30 miles and just keep the water to ourselves in that area? They'll take more resources than we've already got to make barriers of that sort. As I keep challenging the people of looking at Google Maps, I'm going to do it to you again. So, if you're going to be doing the Google Maps, run with me on this one, guys. So, open up the damn program and take a world view. Not your local view, but a world view. Look at the United States, its entirety. And North and South America on the globe. Without the borders, you'll probably see, it looks like a massive wave of clouds and stuff. Get past that, you start seeing the state borders. Now, how far do we need fencing, and do we need it surrounding the entire country? You look at the East Coast down to the West Coast, from north to south ends, and you see that we have an issue. I mean, if we're going to be fearful about our own damn protection over here, we might as well have some safe and secure areas, don't you think? So, we'll probably need to get up more fencing somewhere and just extend it from north to south on both coastlines. What do you think? Of course, that's going to be affecting our national and international businesses out there. Not to mention the entertainment and cruise line industries out there. But screw the cruise line industry. I'm saying it to all the cruise lines out here, screw you. Because we Americans want our fear and we want our border protection. We want to be quote-unquote safe. We don't want to pad your damn pockets. We don't want people to have vacations elsewhere. No, we want them here. So how do you like that one? This is what the American people voted in when we got the Trump in office. So now we got to deal with this shit. You want your Social Security? You're not going to have your Social Security. Someone else is going to get it. Now what are you going to do? Oh, you're dependent upon that Social Security. Well, let's see. You don't want it. You're not going to have it. Somebody else will have it. They'll take good care of it. May put it into a private account that you're not going to have access to. According to the Department of Government Efficiency, I think that's the correct terminology for that insane asylum. So they're going to be the ones telling you what to do, how to live, how to think. Governed by monopoly. Governed by ego. By an insecure little boy who's got more money than God. And he's pushing the buttons, not our President Trump. And people who think like him. And you voted him in. That's why I kept saying, you assholes kept voting him in. Now we're stuck with it. I hope you enjoy this shit. Because it's not over yet, assholes.